2024. Even though I'm leading the Taraweeh this year, I'm still not feeling that connection with Allah. Like there's still something missing. 6 months ago, I started a YouTube channel to help Islam. So I planned a really fast growth. But I have only 6 subscribers right now. And my videos are getting like literally zero views. But I always hold my composure and say, Allah inna nasrallahi qareeb. One day I eat iftar, do wudu, set the prayer mat, and then start praying. As I go into the last rakat, my heart gets a weird feeling. Clips of Gaza start flashing before my eyes. I'm alone in a dark room. As I go into the last sujood, my heart just gives up. The first tear comes out, then the second, and then tears start coming out like my mom has just died or something. It's a mixed feeling. On one side, I'm angry, complaining to Allah that why have you chained our arms? And then on the other side, I'm feeling there is wisdom in every single act of Allah. I finally end my prayer, wash my face and stuff, and then pick up the Quran to revise for the Taraweeh. As I'm reciting the verses, my heart keeps telling me one thing: you did it. You did it. So I check the YouTube studio and there's still no growth. But I feel different, like something has changed. I feel like that this one sujood that I did this night was better than all the sujoods I had ever done in my entire life. My heart felt different. It felt at peace, even though nothing had really changed. Ramadan ends and I'm a completely different person from the inside. Okay, so to understand this first point, let's say that a man was going through the desert with his family. They're going through the desert, and then in the middle of the desert, the car breaks down. The man gets out and tries to fix the car, but he just can't. He can't understand what is wrong with the car. Now they're starting to run out of food and water, and nobody has came to that part of the desert. The man goes out in search of food or water, especially water because they really need water. His family back there is thirsty, and so he goes out in search of water. And so he keeps going and going. After maybe let's say 2-3 miles, he finds a well. He goes and looks into the well, and there is water in the well. He praises Allah, and then he sees that there is also a bucket in that well as well. And then he fills that bucket with water. But then, as he brings up the bucket, he sees that there are holes in the bucket. There is water in the bucket, but there are also holes in it, small holes. And so this means that he will be losing water slowly but surely. So he takes that bucket from the well and he starts running towards his family. Imagine the amount of stress he would be in. His family is really thirsty back there. And now he has water, but the bucket in which he has water has holes in it. The amount of stress that that person would be feeling at that time for every drop of water that is going out of the bucket, you should be feeling more stressed when you lose every single second of Ramadan. And so to make sure that you do not waste any time of Ramadan, even not the first day, and you get into it as soon as possible, you get into the race as soon as the Ramadan starts. You plan before it even starts. And so our planning here will have 3 non-negotiables in it. Number one, dua. Number two, Quran. And number three, Taraweeh or Tahajjud. And so, how do you plan? Well, you make a routine that revolves around these 3 things, and of course, the like 5 daily prayers, they are must. And so, you make a routine even before Ramadan starts. And so, you sit down, you allot 15-20 minutes to make a routine for the entirety of Ramadan. And then you make these 3 things, 3 non-negotiables, your top 3 priorities during the month of Ramadan. Not even your work is going to be the top priority. But you might be thinking, what's so big and what's so important about these 3 things? And why have we chosen these 3 things to be the non-negotiables? Well, there is only one ruku of Ramadan, of fasting, in the entirety of Quran. Even though it is one of the major pillars of Islam, fasting, there is only one ruku in which it is mentioned, in which Ramadan is mentioned and stuff. And so if you go to that ruku, which is in Surah Baqarah, ayat number 183 is about Ramadan. Ayat number 184 is also about Ramadan. Ayat number 185 is also about Ramadan. Ayat number 187 is also about Ramadan. Noticed I left an ayat, 186. 186 is about dua. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. So, the reason Allah sandwiched the ayat of dua between ayats of Ramadan is to show me and you that Ramadan is the month of making dua. And bro, scholars even say that if you make a particular dua in one Ramadan, let's say you make a particular dua in like Ramadan 2025 this year, by the next year Ramadan, you would not even have to make the dua. That dua would have been accepted. It's not 100% guaranteed, but scholars do say that. And this has happened to me. Like, I used to make a lot, like lots and lots and lots of duas about like to see growth of my YouTube channel, like maybe 3-4 times every single day in Ramadan 2024. And now we are approaching 10k subscribers. And then, the night on which the Quran was sent down became the best of the nights. The month in which the Quran was sent down became the best of the months. The Prophet on which the Quran was sent down became the best of the prophets. The Ummah on which the Quran was sent down became the best of the Ummahs. So, this shows us a trend, and the trend is whatever the Quran touches, it makes it the best. And so, let it touch your life, and I guarantee you, your life will become the best. And so you must read Quran every single day in Ramadan. And here, I'm not talking about you just listening to Taraweeh or anything like that. No, I'm talking about you actively reading Quran. You taking time out of your day to sit down and read Quran. Because in Taraweeh, as you are standing, if you are not a Hafiz, your mind is just wandering here and there, here and there. Because you haven't memorized Quran, you don't know. And especially because most of us don't even understand Arabic, you don't even know what the person is reciting. And so you're just standing there, and that's all. And the best time to do this is, well, in the morning. So start reading Quran every single day in the month of Ramadan, in the morning, bro, before you start doing anything else. And then I'm pretty sure that you have already heard about this hadith, that how in the last part of the night, Allah comes down to the lowest heaven and says and calls out, "Is there anyone who wants me to fulfill his dua or anything like that?" Like, I'm paraphrasing here. And so, if you really want something, go and ask Allah in that time. This means you pray tahajjud. And so, just quickly, I'm going to give you three ways in which you can pray tahajjud. The first one, which is the most virtuous one, is that you pray Isha, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up, you pray tahajjud, maybe 2 rakats, 4 rakats, whatever, and then you again go back to sleep, and then you wake up and you pray Fajr. This is the most virtuous. But then the second one is you pray Isha, then you go to sleep, and then maybe you wake up 15-20 minutes before the time of Fajr, and then during that time you pray Tahajjud, and then you pray Fajr, and then you go to sleep or whatever. And then the third one, which is the least virtuous, is that you pray Isha and you wait a little bit, and then you pray Tahajjud before going to sleep, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up at the time of Fajr, and then you pray Fajr, and then you go on with your day. Even though the third one is the least virtuous one, if you cannot wake up during the night, and if you're a really busy person, and you just cannot go to sleep early because you have things to do, just like me, and so start doing this one, start doing the third one, even though it is the least virtuous one. Don't let shaitan convince you that 0 and 1 are equal. You not praying tahajjud and you praying tahajjud, even though it is the least virtuous one, is equal. No, it's not equal. But all of this is not the main reason of Ramadan. Making dua, reading Quran, praying Taraweeh, or praying tahajjud. These are not the main reasons of Quran. The main reason of Quran is يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون, so that you may become mindful of Allah. In simple words, to gain khushu. To gain khushu, to gain God consciousness, is the main purpose of Ramadan. And so this means that your intention must be clear. Your intention before entering Ramadan should not be that, okay, I'm going to eat so much stuff, or like I'm going to go out with my friends, okay, or maybe I'm going to pray Tarawih. So your intention should be to gain God consciousness. And so how do you make sure that your intention is good? Well, you remind yourself that if I keep my intention right in this world, what awaits me in the next world is far, far, far better than what having wrong intention in this world can give me. And then the second thing with intention is that there is a narration that says that if a particular person leaves sins just for the sake of Ramadan, he says that okay, as Ramadan is approaching, I'm going to stop like sinning. Okay, babe, as Ramadan is approaching, let's not do any sexting or anything like that. And as soon as Ramadan ends, we'll get back to this and stuff. If someone says this, his fasting is not accepted. So this means that if you say that, okay, as Ramadan is coming, I'm not going to listen to music, but as soon as Ramadan ends, I'm going to get back to it. Or maybe let's not watch any anime or porn or movies, or like let's not talk with my girlfriend or anything like that during the month of Ramadan. And then as soon as Ramadan ends, we'll get back to it. The person who thinks that, the person whose intention is that, his fasting is not accepted. So this means that you have to leave all of these things for sure. So you were saying that you have no time, right? Well, I just made time for you. And then let's say that two people are running in a race. One of them has a lot of load, let's say a load of 80 kg on his back. Well, maybe not 80 kg. How is he going to even run? Let's say a load of 20 kg on his back. And the other person who is competing against him, who is also running in that same race, has no load on his back. Who's going to run faster? Who's going to win the race? Who's going to finish the race first? Come on, think. Well, you don't need an IQ of 200 to answer this question. No. Of course, the person who has no load on his back will finish the race faster. He will be the number one in that race. And so, Ramadan is also a race. It is also a race of gaining good deeds. But what is the load? Well, sins. Sins of your life, sins of your entire past year. Those are the load. And so, our goal here is to get off that load. We need to get off that load because we need to finish faster. We need to gain more ranks. And so, how do we get off that load? Well, by istighfar. By saying astaghfirullah from your heart. Astaghfirullah from your heart. And so you have to get off that load, as much of it as possible, before even Ramadan starts. Because if you try to do that during Ramadan, even though you still can, you will be like the person who had load when the race started. And as the race started, during the race, he was trying to get off the load slowly but surely. But what smart people would do is that they would get off that load before even the race starts, so that they can run faster as soon as the race starts. And then some quick points I really want to mention is that on the day of judgment, there will be a person who would have fasted in throughout his life, who would have prayed all 5 prayers, who would have done like Hajj and Umrah and all of these things throughout his life. And then he will go to Allah, and then his book of deeds will be opened, and in there he will find no good deeds. And he will say to Allah, he will complain to Allah, this is not my book. This is not my book. I did Umrah, I did Hajj, I prayed, I fasted. This is not my book. And he will be told that this is your book. And he will ask, why am I not seeing any of the good deeds I did? Well, like, what is going on here? And he will be told, this is because you did not control your tongue. You said MF, you said OS, you said OF, you said all of these things, even unconsciously. So this is why you are not seeing any of those good deeds here. And now, your bad deeds are heavier on your good deeds. And you know what that means. And so, control your tongue, bro. And then similarly, control your gaze as well. And please, sisters, cover yourself up. At least for the month of Ramadan, please, sisters, cover yourself up. Like, I don't know what to say on this point. And then lastly, do not drink juice containing sugar in it, because that is the reason for the bloating. The reason you feel bloated after iftar is not because you ate a lot of stuff or anything like that. It's because of that juice containing fructose, containing sugar in it. Drink maximum 2 glasses of a fluid that does not contain any sugar in it during iftar, with 3 sips of each glass, minimum 3 sips. And so, if you want to join a community of like-minded people, Muslims who are on self-improvement, because you really want to get the most out of this Ramadan, click the first link if you are a male, and click the second link if you are female, to join the communities, which are totally 100% free. And so do good, and inshallah I will see you in Jannah. Inshallah, bro.